कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस श्री भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य ब्यूटी फाउंडर आचार्य सेवर ऑफ द होल वर्ल्ड श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। श्री द्वारकापुरी धाम की जय। गंगा मैया यमुना मैया की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। सामवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। पतित पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री श्री रुक्मिणी द्वारकाधीश की जय। श्री श्री रुक्मिणी द्वारकानाथ की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam ततो जायामुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 32, Entanglement in Fruitive Activities, Text 21. Tataste kṣīṇa-sukṛtāḥ punar lokam imam sati patanti vivaśā devaiḥ sadyo vibhraṁśitodayāḥ. Tataste kṣīṇa-sukṛtāḥ punar lokam imam sati patanti vivaśā devaiḥ sadyo vibhraṁśitodayāḥ. Tataste kṣīṇa-sukṛtāḥ punar lokam imam sati patanti vivaśā devaiḥ sadyo vibhraṁśitodayāḥ. Tataste kṣīṇa-sukṛtāḥ. Punar lokam imam sati. Patanti vivaśā devaiḥ. Sadyo vibhraṁśitodayāḥ. Tataste kṣīṇa-sukṛtāḥ. Lokam imam sati. Patanti vivaśā devaiḥ. Sadyo vibhraṁśitodayāḥ. Vaishnavis. Tataste kṣīṇa-sukṛtāḥ. Punar lokam imam sati. Patanti vivaśā devaiḥ. Sadyo vibhraṁśitodayāḥ. Tataste kṣīṇa-sukṛtāḥ. Punar lokam imam sati. Patanti vivaśā devaiḥ. Sadyo vibhraṁśitodayāḥ. Tatas. Then they kṣīṇa, exhausted, sukṛtāḥ, results of their pious activities, punaḥ, again, lokam imam, to this planet, sati, O virtuous mother, patanti, fall, vivaśā, helpless, devaiḥ, by higher arrangement, sadyaḥ, suddenly, vibhraṁśita, caused to fall, udayāḥ, their prosperity. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. When the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they fall down by higher arrangement and again come back to this planet. Just as any person raised to a higher position sometimes all of a sudden falls. Purport. It is sometimes found that a person elevated to a very high position in government service falls down all of a sudden and no one can check him. Similarly, after finishing their period of enjoyment, foolish persons who are very much interested in being elevated to the position of president in higher planets also fall down to this planet. The distinction between the elevated position of a devotee and that of an ordinary person attracted to fruitive activities is that when a devotee is elevated to the spiritual kingdom, he never falls down, whereas an ordinary person falls even if he is elevated to the highest planetary system, Brahma-loka. It is confirmed in Bhagavad-gītā, ābrahma-bhuvanāl lokaḥ, that even if one is elevated to a higher planet, he has to come down again. But Krishna confirms in Bhagavad-gītā 8.16, Mam upetyatu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. Anyone who attains my abode never comes back to this conditioned life of material existence. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरम्। Hare Krishna. I seek blessings of Maharaj and all devotees so that I can speak something glorifying Lord for all of your pleasure and for my purification. So we are in this chapter where Kapila Deva continuing his instructions to Mother Devahuti, and in the current section from verses 16 to 21, Lord Kapila, he is criticizing sakama karma. So we saw that he described how those who perform this sakama karma goes to Pitruloka. And then in today's verse he says, once they exhaust their pious credits, they fall down. So we'll see two main points today. First, three rather. Why somebody develops desire to go somewhere. Second, where the non-devotees or any Vedic follower apart from devotees goes. And third, where the devotees go. Okay. So first, why people develop desire, right? So whenever we hear about something, curiosity develops, and that leads to mind proposing either to accept it or reject it. Somebody hears about new movie coming up, right? They put billboards, they show trailers, right? And they kind of put some flashy points from that, So people develop desire. What's in there, Let me go and check. For that matter, all this advertisement industry, right? It's based on creating desire in people's heart to do some activity, to purchase something. Right? All these big, nobody will advertise potato or tomato or rice, because people will buy it anyway. They need it, they buy it. They may advertise McDonald's, that's like processed food, but the core is hardly. So, and then second thing, why one develop that desire to do that thing? He thinks that it will bring me happiness. Right? So first of all, somebody hears about something and they think that, okay, if I do that particular activity or go to that place, it will bring me happiness. And then the pursuit starts to either, say, go to, say, national park. I have seen nice reels, nice, there's waterfalls and nice scenery. So let me go there to enjoy, that will give me some happiness. So that's the basis. But the Vedas, like Vyasdev, beforehand when he wrote all the Puranas and Vedas, he did a lot of advertisement, of what? Heavenly planets, wherein you can drink somaras, be very healthy, enjoy unlimitedly, you will not fall sick, and there are so many damsels to enjoy with, right? It just goes on and on and on actually, right? So what he was doing? Advertisement. Then what happens? This karma kand, and then he gave process also how to go there. Google Maps, right? You perform this activity. You attain this bank balance of pious credits. You go there. And you enjoy. But after writing and doing all this activity, about all these places, he himself was not satisfied actually. And then he ended up, writing Srimad Bhagavatam, wherein what he is describing, today's verse, my dear mother, I therefore advise you, take shelter of, this was the, when the result of their pious activities are exhausted, they fall down by a higher arrangement and again come back to this planet. Just as any person raised to a higher position sometimes all of a sudden falls. So it is, you have a credit of your pious activities, you use it and lose it. Once it's over, you have to come back. And there are so many examples. And then Krishna also, again and again tells, like Prabhupada is quoting Bhagavad-gītā 8th chapter, that you go up to the planet of Brahmaloka, still you have to come back. There is a nice story, it comes in Mahabharata, where Nahusha, Indra's post was vacant for some reason. So because of his pious credits, they asked this king Nahusha to become Indra. So he went and he became Indra, because he had that bank balance, right? And there again, see, the nature of material enjoyment is, it is never satiated. However one gets, he wants more. In this purport also, Prabhupada is saying is that, similarly, after finishing their period of enjoyment, foolish persons who are very much interested in being elevated to the position of president in higher planets, so the people, they want to go to the next level. So this Nahusha also wanted to go to the next level. What? He said, I have the post of Indra, but my seat next to me is empty. I don't have Sachi Devi, his wife of Indra, So he said, to Mother Sachi, you should come and sit. Now I am Indra, so I am supposed to be your husband now, So let's come and, sit next to me. Now Sachi Devi was, chest lady. She was, in big trouble actually. But he had that post, he had power also. What she could do? She went and took shelter of Brihaspati. Then Brihaspati devised the plan. Then she told it to Sachi, and this Sachi Devi, he told to this new Indra, Nahusha, that I'll come and sit next to you, like kind of marry you, only if all the great sages, Saptarishis, right, Agastya and all those Ashtavakra Muni and all, if they carry you in palanquin and bring it to my chambers. So now, to ask service, and that too asking to lift one's palanquin from such a great sage, itself is a even thinking of that itself is a very abominable position. But this Nahusha, being maddened with the power and desire to enjoy, he orders all these Saptarshis that come and lift me and take me to the chambers of Sachi. So now these sages, they understood that his fall down is near, but still they obeyed, So they carried this king, and while carrying one of this Muni, Ashtavakra, he was little like, physically little bent at 8 places actually. That's why his name was Ashtavakra. He was walking little slow, and then he was in so much anticipation. He said, Sarpa, move fast, move fast. This Agastya Rishi, he became mad. He said, you become Sarpa, you fall down. And that guy became a snake and landed on earth. So, this once the pious credits are done, you are back into material world. So this is the problem with material enjoyment, that you have to work very hard for it, and then when you try to enjoy, it's for a very short amount of time, and then once that's over, you are back again to again start working hard for trying to get some another set of enjoyment. And basically there is no enjoyment actually. It is just the mind is anticipating for something, so it's oscillating a lot. I want Sachi, I want Sachi, I want Sachi, I want Sachi. Or like say I want iPhone, right? And when you get iPhone, that satiation stops, and immediately you see another ad, another desire comes that there is a new car launching. So that mind again start oscillating. I want car, I want car. So basically, the happiness in material world is just a gap between two hankerings. It's nothing more. There is no happiness. And then this is like gross materialistics we are talking, who had gross sense gratification. What about Gyanis, Yogis, Ashtanga Yogis, Brahmavadis? For them also the same problem, Brahmaji and the demigods, when they were praying to Lord Krishna, when he was in mother's womb, they say, Ye anye aravindaksha vimuktamaninaha tvayashta bhava vishuddha buddhayaha aruyya krucchena param padam tataḥ patanti yadha anarya jushtamangrayaha. So Brahmaji says that someone may say that aside from devotees who always seek shelter at the Lord's lotus feet, there are those who are not devotees but who have accepted different processes for attaining salvation. What happens to them? In answer to this question, Lord Brahma and the other demigods said, O lotus-eyed Lord, although non-devotees who accept such severe austerities and penances to achieve the highest position may think themselves liberated, their intelligence is impure. They fall down from their position of imagined superiority because they have no regard for your lotus feet. Same point. So yes, gross materialist we can understand, yes, bank balance over, come back. But even the yogis and all those people who are being perfectionist, if they don't take the shelter of lotus feet of Lord, they fall down, what to speak of Brahmaloka, even from Brahma Jyoti. So that is the precarious position. But for a devotee, like in next verse again, like Kapil Dev glorifies devotional service. So in contrast to this, devotees, whatever they do, their bank balances never comes down. Once we chant Hare Krishna, it's done. 0.01%, say for example. Our spiritual perfection or spiritual sukriti, it's done. Neha abhikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpa matpyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a small endeavor on this path is never diminished. And the beauty is, even if for some reason a devotee has to so-called fall down, the protection is guaranteed. Bharat Maharaj got attracted to a deer. He said, "Oh my deer," and then he became a deer. Right? But then Krishna kept his remembrance. He became a deer, then became a Jad Bharat and perfected his life. Bilva Mangal Thakur, he was very high. He was at a level of bhava, but he was attracted to physical pleasure. But then when his name was Sillana Mishra, when this Sillana Mishra was trying to enjoy in his life to this Chintamani, she reminded him of Krishna and just gave up everything, perfected his life. We are reading in morning about Vritrasura, right? Chitraketu Maharaj. He was completely immersed in glorifying Lord Sankarshan. Did little mistake in, he was actually glorifying Lord Shiva, but Mother Parvati misunderstood him, got a curse, became a big demon. What happened? Perfected his life. So Krishna's protection for a devotee is never, is never taken away. Lord always protects. And the spiritual advancement that one has done, it continues from that place. And another, but one thing is there, that one has to always keep hearing about Lord and be in good association. Otherwise, there is chance of fall down even for a devotee. And then the classic example is that of Kala Krishna Das. He was a devotee. He was serving Lord Chaitanya personally. There was nobody to compete with him actually. 24/7 service during his South India Yatra. But he was little inattentive. And then he got attracted to the Bhattar humans and was sidetracked for some time. But again, Lord is merciful, he brought him back, and then Lord Nityananda and other devotees engaged him. So ultimately he was saved, but the point is, Prabhupada used to say, Shurasya Dhara, that once we start practicing devotional service, we cannot keep our guards. We cannot say, hey, whatever I am doing is going to be eternal. I don't have to worry, and I don't have to, worry about fall down. No, that on this path also we need to be careful of not taking it for granted, not offending devotees, not making sure that our basics are always intact. It's like nowadays there is another trend that listening to different sadhus from Vrindavan. It's not a problem, but we have to be loyal and rooted in the teachings that Srila Prabhupada has given. Otherwise, we don't know. Somebody may be apparently very nice devotee, but he may be, subtly Mayavadi. Who knows? So we have to make sure that while we have this best path and our bank balance, spiritual bank balance is guaranteed, we should not delay our going back home, back to Godhead. See, it's there. It's not going to diminish. But all we can do is delay. Bharat Maharaj delayed it for 3 lives. Chitraketu Maharaj 1 life. Right? So why to delay? And if we offend devotees, then it really delays actually. So the devotees, they hear about Krishna and they aspire for something which is not diminished. And then how to earn this credit which is not diminished? Same way. Like how we develop desire? By hearing the karmis and the sakama karmavadis. They heard from Vedas about the different heavenly planets, Brahmalok. They developed their desire and they followed that path. They went there, again they came back. So same way, when we hear about Krishna, we develop desire to go to Him. So and there are so many nice, beautiful prayers, verses that can help us to develop attraction for Krishna. So one of them, recite, it's from Padyavali. Bhandire Shashikhanda Mandanavara Shrikhanda-liptangahe Vrindaranya Purandaras Puradaman Dindivara-shyamala Kalindi Priyanandanandana Para Nandaravindekshana Shri Govinda Mukunda Sundaratano Mam Dinamanam Taya. So here, this devotee is praying that Bhandiresh, Krishna is Lord of Bhandiravan, and Shashikhanda Mandanavara, he is decorated with beautiful peacock feather. And there are so many pastimes actually, why Krishna wears a peacock feather, right? Shrikhanda-liptangahe, and his whole body is decorated nicely with sandalwood pulp. Vrindaranya Purandaras Puradaman. He is the Lord of Vrindavan who is very beautiful, and this devotee is praying that you please, I am a wretched soul, you please, Dindivara-shyamala, you please, deliver me, Kalindi Priya is very dear to Mother Yamuna. Nanda Para is the darling of Nanda Maharaj. Nandaravindekshana Shri Govinda Mukunda Sundaratano. He is the one who gives pleasure to senses and the cows. The Lord of Lakshmi, very beautiful, Mam Dinamanam Taya. Oh Lord, please deliver me. So Krishna, once he was talking with Srimati Radharani, and he said that, oh Radha, you look like a moon. And then Srimati Radharani became very upset. He said, what moon? Moon has so many dots in it. Is my face having dots? He said, no. And also moon is fully visible only once in a 15 days. Then is goes down, and one day is not even visible. So am I like that? Krishna said, no. And she says, okay, I don't want to talk to you. It's like Mana Lila. And then Krishna tries to console. She doesn't. Then what Krishna does is that he starts dancing. And he dances so beautifully that he actually, like a peacock, he takes a form of a peacock and, very nicely, keeps dancing. And then by seeing that, Srimati Radharani, she also becomes a peon and they both dance actually. And that's, beautiful pastime. And then this in Barsana, there is a place near Man Mandir, it's called Morakutir. So there one blind sage, he was used to meditate on this pastime. So once Srimati Radharani comes and she says, you please draw this pastime which you are meditating on. He said, I am blind, how can? He said, you just go ahead, I'll empower you. And then he just comes, collects some minerals and draws nice painting of Radha Krishna as a peacocks dancing. So Krishna, he performs such different pastimes. Just one, to attract us. Like why Krishna wears, peacock feather. I was hearing one lecture, the devotee was mentioning that, Krishna is like a blue, cloud, and Srimati Radharani is golden, like thunder, thunderbolt, like golden color. So, and their smiles are like rain. So when there is in the cloud there are rains and there is thunderstorm, there are sometimes rainbow also appears, right? So that rainbow was missing, so Krishna puts a peacock feather, which looks like a rainbow, and then Krishna is bent. Why is bent? He wants to be closer to Srimati Radharani, that way. So Krishna has such a beautiful form, he performs so many beautiful pastimes, and by hearing those we develop desire. Why not to be part of that? And when we act on this desire, we start accumulating this spiritual sukruti, or we start making advancement, by which yadgatva nanivartante taddhamam paramam mama. Krishna assures that once you come back there, then you don't have to come back in this material place, because it's like such a miserable. You have to work so hard, get temporary happiness, come back again, keep working. Who has said this? Instead, just become happy once and for all, right? So to summarize, Kapil Dev is criticizing the Sakama Karamavadis, and he's mentioning that how they have to come down again to this miserable world once they finish their pious credits. So we saw that how Srila Prabhu also refers in purport that how in 8th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, Krishna tells that ābrahma-bhuvanāl lokan punar that if one is not devotee, then even if he goes up to Brahma Loka, he has to fall back. So we saw that people get desire to go at different places in this universe by hearing, but the problem, when they go there, they have to work very hard and it is temporary, they have to come back. But then the same case is not true with the devotees. And devotee, even if for some, and we saw example of Nahusha, how he fell down, and in case of devotees, then they do not fall, but even if their so-called fall down is there, their protection is guaranteed. We saw, and then their spiritual sukruti is always intact. We saw example of Vritrasur, Bharat Maharaj, Bilva Mangal Thakur, Kala Krishna. And then we also saw that, yes, though our path is perfect, our spiritual account is not diminishing, we need to be careful, because we may delay. So we saw example of Kala Krishna Das, that though he was serving directly to Lord, because of inattention, he had to, he was astray. So all we can do is delay going back to Godhead, but why to delay? So better be attentive, be very much careful, and not get swayed away even in name of, hearing more, say for example from, some devotees from Vrindavan or things like that, who may not follow, Srila Prabhupada's teachings, or like, our Acharya's Siddhanta accurately. So, and then we saw one prayer that how the same, by hearing we get desire for material things, so same way by hearing about Krishna we can develop desire for going back to spiritual world. And we saw one prayer from Padyavali wherein it beautifully describes Krishna's beautiful form, why he wears peacock feather, and how is so beautiful. And let us pray that, by hearing these pastimes again and again, we develop staunch desire, because going back there is only one prize, laulyam api ekamulyam, intense desire, intense greed to have that. So let's all pray for that intense greed to hear about Lord Krishna's pastimes, his teachings, and follow the path of Srila Prabhupada. I seek specially blessings of all of you to do that. So with this, would like to stop. Any comments, Maharaj, or question? Yes. Yes. Yes, Maharaj.
That's what you're going to experience. Hare Krishna. So I say, no wonder you're bitter and uptight and unhappy, because you've created a mindset, and that's what you experience. For me, hey, life is a flow. Sometimes it's happy, sometimes it's difficulty. That's the nature of the place. I don't expect more, therefore I'm not disappointed. You just need to grow up and accept reality and stop creating this fantasy world that you think everything's happy somewhere.
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
Yeah, it's my taste time now, So, yeah, actually very well put. It is, we are not pessimistic, we are realistic. If a house is burning, I cannot say, oh, I have AC, there is a night's Netflix going on, let me keep watching. Intelligent person will get out and try to put off fire, or at least save himself. So if somebody is a little sane and keep the eyes open, it doesn't require a scientist brain to understand that this place is miserable. So as a spiritualist, what we are trying to do is, we are just waking up to the reality and preparing for a better future. And you mentioned that we are not happy, we are experiencing misery. You please come and see us at 4:30. Our day starts with dancing. We have bare minimum necessities. We, devotees, they sometimes sleep on floor, or they are going in Harinam in a dead heat, but they are just happy. All we need to eat is some nice little prasad. We are happy. So even for hypothesis case, even if we just forget next life and spiritual world and everything, you just see our current lifestyle. We are just happy. We don't have any addiction. We don't depend on external things to get high and experience that so-called happiness. You mentioned about, just going with the flow. You can't change flow, so that's why you are saying that, just go with the flow. But we have a process by which not only we can change the flow, but while being in the flow, we can experience that happiness. You please come, we invite you. Practice for a week, you yourself will find that difference. So, to summarize, we are not pessimistic, we are realistic, and we are making sure that we are planning ahead. People also plan, they put into social security, mutual funds, everywhere, right? Why they need to plan then, just go with the flow. Why you are saving? You are preparing for future. So we are preparing for even farther future, even after what, after death, your social security is not going to come with you. So we are preparing for that. Maharaj, any corrections? No. Very kind. Yes, Prabhu. It's if Maharaj has to answer, it will be much more enlightening actually.
Yeah. So Prabhu, in the beginning of the class, your class, and in previous texts and purports, it's been explained that in order to go to the heavenly planets, you have to perform these prescribed activities, as in the Karmakanda section of the Veda, and you get pious credit like that, and you promote it. Okay. But yesterday we heard in the class, the person who, dear Alita Prabhu, gave class, and he mentioned a comment that Prabhupada made about my disciples are headed or aiming for the heavenly planets. There was that comment. And when Jayananda passed away, Prabhupada wrote like I don't know if it's correct to say a condolence letter, but a letter. And one part in the letter he said, and if he had any material desire, he will go to the heavenly planets. But then Prabhupada went on to say, but I don't think he did, so he's probably going to go back to Godhead. Then there is, just this morning we heard that if you worship Vishnu, you can get anything you want. So my question is, it seems like a little strange because in chapter 9, text 25 in the Bhagavad-gītā, Krishna says, if you worship the demigods, you go to the demigods. If you worship the forefathers, you go to the forefathers. If you worship the ghosts and spirits, you go to the ghosts and spirits. So how is it that somebody who's, and even in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad-gītā, it says a yogi, if he falls down after short practice, he goes to the heavenly planets. So it seems like a little contradictory to me. You're worshiping, Krishna says, you go to where you worship, but the devotees aren't worshiping, they're not trying to go to the heavenly planets, and so why would they wind up there? It's like if you buy a ticket to go to Chicago and you wouldn't expect to wind up in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Questions clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay.
Akama sarva kamava moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajitah purusha param. The problem is that particular devotee sadhaka, though he is worshipping Lord Vishnu, tivrena bhakti yogena, his practice is not intense. And that's why what he is desiring, that yes, sometimes, I want to go to spiritual world, but then I hear a description about heavenly planets, let's even, get a stop thereby also. So because of that reason, they may, end up there. And then we have very, Bhagavatam gives very stark examples, this Pururava, right? He worshipped Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu personally appeared. What did he ask him? Urvashi, give me Urvashi. Gross sense gratification he asked by worshipping Lord Vishnu. And that chapter 9th canto, I think if I remember correctly, it ends there. And one may think, wow, so are the scriptures wrong? No, you just wait. 11th canto again, what Pururava's realizations are there? He says, what I was asking was such a nasty thing. And he again comes back to his path original and, goes back to spiritual world, perfects his life. So, initial days, see, in the time of eternity, a few lifetimes here and there, they are just like a dot. Maharaj gives this example that you draw a big line, infinite line, say for example, here to New York, dot. It's just insignificant. So same way, in the span of eternity, a few lifetimes is very short. But if somebody has taken worshipping Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu, yes, he may temporarily go to heavenly planets, but again his intelligence is revived, and Krishna says, right, he takes birth in a house of a devotee or a very rich person so that he can continue his practice further. So it's hooked. Okay, I may go there, but then again I'll have that. Again, this Bilva Mangal Thakur example, right? Sillana Mishra. He was at the bhava stage, but he still had some sense gratificatory desire. He came back, he tried to enjoy it. Krishna reminded, and at one point, yes. See, Krishna don't want us to force. Okay? Unless we are 100% ready, he doesn't want us to take back to Godhead. So in between, if we have some things here, a devotee may go there, but he'll immediately realize that, hey, what Krishna had told in Bhagavad-gītā, better I should have realized it. And he comes back. It is also said that when one goes back to spiritual world, the Vaikuntha Airlines, he takes them from, hellish planet, heavenly planet, Brahmaloka, everywhere. And if we get that thought, hey, what's happening here, immediately they will drop us there, and they will take us further. So, but again, that protection is there. That though temporarily they may go here and there, but the moment they start practicing this Tivrena Bhakti Yogena, one goes back. Does that answer the question? Yes. Mara, you want to add something, or Prabhu, you want to add something?
Anyway, I think it's time for breakfast, but so I don't want to prolong. But your answer was very good, and Krishna knows he's in our. What is it? Krishna. Yes. It's not going to help me. It's going to distract me. Bhavagrihi Janardanam. The Krishna knows what's in our heart, and he knows that we're mixed. And if we're mixed to the greater degree of material attachment, he does what he needs to do. He fulfills our desire. And the material nature will do its part. It doesn't satisfy us, ultimately. So you need a little more time in the washing machine. Chickpeas need a little longer to soak to get soft. So Krishna just sends us around a couple more times in the material world, and we think, hey, what was I after? What was it? And just like you said, if he doesn't do that, we're going to be, up and, go back to Godhead and wonder where was that girlfriend from high school? Is she still around there, So Krishna does his job, the material nature do that, and don't blame Krishna for our desires. He knows he's a perfect surgeon. Mukunda Maharaj needed to have a heart stents put in his heart, but he was so weak because of his lung condition. They had to fix his lung first. So they had to make him strong, and then they could do the heart surgery. So they had a preliminary surgery on his lung and a second surgery on his heart. So we need, the material nature. Krishna's got to get that out of our heart so we can actually accept the better of the two, going back to Godhead. So Krishna knows what he's doing. The material nature does his job, and the problem is our heart. We found the enemy, and the enemy is us. Can't blame anybody else.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Maharaj, for
adding on to what your nice answer.
Thank you. Jai Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.